There is more than one way to categorize the functional role of muscles. It depends on perspective. We may look at the muscles in terms of their function in specific movements, or we may look at them in terms of the entire body as a system complete with many subsystems. When viewed in the latter way, the muscles are classified according to their function rather than their role in a particular movement. The word stabilizer or stabilization, therefore, has a much broader and complex definition. This view sees the body as a system of motor or mobilizer and stabilizer muscles. This concept was first proposed by Rude and furthered by the work of Janda and Sarman, as well as by Comerford and Mottram, who proposed the concept of local and global stabilizers and global mobilizers. Although the concept of a stabilizing muscle can still be viewed in terms of a single movement in a system, certain muscles are considered to have the primary function of stabilizers in the body, being by virtue of their position, shape, angle, or structure more suited to work as a stabilizer than as a mobilizer. This way of looking at the body is a valid and important one for the strength trainee. For instance, this view teaches us that the abdominal group of muscles, once mainly thought of as a muscle we perform sit-ups with, is much more important as a major stabilizer of the spine. This lesson may lead us to train those muscles in a way that supports their function, thus making us stronger and more injury-free. This, in fact, is one of the hallmarks of functional training, although the term has been much abused and overused. The type of stabilizer that is important in specific joint movements, however, are fixators, which are active during one movement and at one joint. There are certain muscles that act primarily as stabilizers because of their angle of pull. An example of such muscles is a group of muscles known as the rotator cuff muscles of the shoulder girdle. This group comprises the supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis. Because of their contribution to external and internal rotation of the shoulder, these muscles are mainly known as muscles of rotation, but they are actually much better suited for the primary role of stabilization, and they are very important in stabilizing the humeral head in the glenoid fossa. The basic definition of a fixator is a stabilizer that acts to eliminate the unwanted movement of an agonist or prime mover's origin. Many muscles are attached to more than one bone. When this happens, the muscles are said to be multi-articulate or multi-joint muscles. When these muscles contract, they tend to move both bones to which they are attached. This would, of course, make everyday movements quite impossible. For example, consider elbow flexion. When you do a curl, the biceps acts to flex or bend the elbow. However, the biceps is attached at two places, proximally and distally. Its distal attachment, the insertion, is to the radius. It is the radius bone we want to move when we curl a dumbbell. One of its proximal attachments, though, the origin, is to the scapula. The scapula is one heck of a mobile bone. In fact, it has no real bony attachments of its own. When the biceps contracts, it will tend to draw the radius and the scapula or shoulder blade together. The movement of the scapula must be prevented. This is accomplished by fixators, specifically the trapezius and rhomboids work isometrically to keep the scapula from moving along the torso. So now, hopefully, you begin to understand and appreciate the essential role of stabilizers in movement.